EX Deviants. There's 18 of them. These monstrosities of game design are loaded up on fat health pools and souped up moves that can one-shot you, and I'm gonna kill them all. The elite players of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, the ones who beat all 18 EX Deviants, are easily identified by a large crown symbol next to their name, and I want that crown. Join me, Griffted, as we brave our way through Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate toughest challenges. Tag along as I attempt to join the ranks of the Royal Elite and wear those sweet crowns. This is the Royal Road. On the last episode of the Royal Road, we leveled up some of our deviants and attempted an EX Malfestio and failed. And that was the last thing you've seen of me in 2 years. Hello, my name is Griffted, and 2 long years have passed since the last episode of my late game Let's Play series, The Royal Road, where I take on the most challenging monsters of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. And a lot has changed. But before we get into that, let's talk about what our goals are for this episode, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty simple. Get another EX Deviant clear. So in case you don't remember, there's 18 EX Deviants, and here's our remaining Deviants that we have to do. And the one I'm going to go for in this episode is Hellblade Glavenus. Basically, I really just want his hunting horn because it's very good for Valor, which is the style that I use the most. But also I think it's a really fun fight and the perfect monster to warm up on after a 2-year rest. So the last time we spoke, my wife and I were getting ready for our first child, and now we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. Griffin is almost 2, and Parker, our daughter, is 4 months old. So why have I been gone for so long? Well, like many of you have speculated, I took time away to focus on my career. So I served in the military for 5 years, and when I got out, my plan was to go to med school, and that started with school. In the meantime, I wanted to get a little job to just kind of work and make money while I attended school, and the job that I ended up getting was working one-on-one with special needs, or individuals with intellectual disabilities. After my first day of working this new job, I sat down with my wife, who's always known my career aspirations to be a doctor, and I told her, I said, hey, some things are going to change. I think this is where I need to be. And after the first day of working, I decided to dedicate my entire life to working with special needs. And I've been doing that for 3 years now. I stopped doing direct care and got promoted to manager, where I ran an entire day program which had about 30 individuals with their direct care staff. So there was about 60 people that I was in charge of. Simultaneously, I continued to go to school. My degree is actually pre-med because my goal was to become a doctor. And I was so close to finishing it that I decided to just finish it out anyway, despite my career goals have changed. I'm currently about 8 months away from completing my bachelor's degree. And once that is complete, I'm going to roll right into my master's degree for psychology. Another interesting turn of events that happened is I became a board game designer. So I've been in the hobby board game scene for a while, since like 2016 or so. And if you don't know anything about the hobby board game scene, I mean, I'm not talking about Monopoly, okay? I'm talking about, thoughtfully designed board games, and it's this own like world that has like famous designers and publishers, very similar to like the movie industry. There's like production teams that make board games, and there's these, and we're talking like high quality board games with, wooden pieces and beautiful art, and it's super tactile. Actually, and there's a website called Board Game Geek, and you could like post publicly what your opinions are of the board games that you play. Very similar to like Internet Movie Database, IMDb. I posted something about this board game, and the owner of the company actually direct messaged me on the website and was like, hey, saw you had some negative comments. I just wanted to make sure that your production copy wasn't messed up. And I said, no, I just don't like the components. And we started an email correspondence from that interaction, which eventually led to me playtesting their new game. During that playtesting, I would write these vigorous reports of my sort of thoughts and the what I was feeling and what I was going through and what I would change to improve the player experience. And these reports really impressed this guy because they were unsolicited, right? The guy was just, impressed. So he was like, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to make money doing this? So I became a developer on this board game that's actually about to come out on Kickstarter very soon. So I worked on this game for about a year as a developer. During that process, they asked me about another game and said asked me if I had any ideas. I said yes. So then I sat down and pitched these ideas to them, and I ended up signing a contract to be a designer for an upcoming game, much further in the future that I can't really talk about right now. So I've been simultaneously working on that as well. The board game design process and development process is just very time consuming. I can equate it to doing a speedrun, actually. So just speaking on my time as a developer, the game was, probably 65-70% completed by the time it got into my hands. My job as a developer is to take it to that 100%, right? To bridge the gap between the designer's goals and the production's expectations for a product. And through that is a lot of playing. And I'm talking like hundreds of hours of playing, right? And you're basically trying to find like abuse and edge cases, and you're trying to find the quickest routes to victory. What are players going to exploit? Does this feel fun? Does this feel overpowered? Is it okay if it's overpowered? Sometimes that's okay. And similarly to a speedrun where you're doing something, hundreds, thousands of times, and you're looking for the quickest route to victory, and you're trying to exploit every single thing you can. I don't know, I just thought that was an interesting parallel between these two worlds that I was a part of at one point. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on that's really difficult to maintain. So I very much feel like I'm spinning a lot of plates simultaneously. YouTube, to come full circle, YouTube was not one of the plates that I was willing to spend. Like, it was like family, school, career, and board games. And like, that was like my 4 plates that I could spin. And YouTube, it just wasn't a plate that I wanted to spin. So yeah, I'm back. And I wouldn't say I'm back with a vengeance, but I am going to finish the series. And I'm going to get all EX Deviants cleared, at least. I do have plans for other videos. I'm not going to make any false promises. You know how I am. I might post, a video and then disappear for 5 years. Who knows? That's just kind of what you get with me. It's like, I'm a terrible YouTuber, man. And just like that, we got another EX Deviant clear. Hellblade is done, and I'm motivated to move on to the next one. Which ones will we tackle next? Well, tune into the next episode in another 2 years. Keep playing that sweet chin music, boys.